So you applied for a student visa and it was denied. Let me show you how you can turn that situation around and get your student visa approved quickly. Let's jump right into it. So I'll share a story with you, and this happened to my family member, and their visa was denied, and they later got it approved. So I just wanted to share that story, and that way, if you are going through that right now, and you've applied, your visa was denied, your student visa was denied, and you don't know what to do. I just want to use that story to share a couple of tips with you, and see if it helps. But I want to start by saying, like, I know how difficult this is, and you will get through it, right? So this was really hard when my sister was going through it, but yeah, she ended up with a visa, and she was able to study abroad. So please just hang in there and keep trying. So today's story, my sister was applying to the US, so this would mostly relate or resonate with you if you are applying to the US for school. So all of that said, let's jump right into it. And this is not one of my structured videos, so we'll just talk, and see if you find anything helpful. Let us jump into it. So my sister applied to school in the US, got very good funding. She applied for the visa for the US, of course, and she went for the interviews. At the time, getting a visa date was so difficult for those in Nigeria, and I think in a couple other countries as well. But she finally got a visa date closer to like when school was supposed to resume, and she went for the visa interview, and her visa was basically denied. She wasn't granted that visa. It wasn't approved basically, and it was devastating for her, and for all of us, because we couldn't explain why her visa wouldn't approved, because she got really great funding from the school. It felt like everything had fallen into place, and that happened, and we didn't know what to do. She started considering a lot of options. Should I try another country? Is it because I'm applying from this country? Should I go to another embassy somewhere else? Should I do this? Should I do that? There are no dates in Lagos anymore. What should I do? That was the situation then, right? So eventually she got a date in Lagos, and that was maybe a few weeks, or not up to a month, I think a few weeks. I don't remember these details anymore, but a few weeks before she was supposed to resume school, she got another visa interview date, and this time she went and she got the visa approved. Now let me share with you some details that she shared with me about how that whole thing happened, and what they asked her, and all of that. So let's talk about that, so you see if you can learn a couple of things from this. So as I've mentioned in a previous video that I did talking about visas and visa interview and all of that, the first thing, or the most important thing you need to remember, is that intent to stay or intent to just study and leave the US. That's very important. So when you go for that visa interview, please remember, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter what your plans are, you cannot make the visa officer feel like you could potentially remain in the US permanently, like you have intention to stay. It's that intent that matters. Please remember that. And I feel like I have to repeat this. No matter what you say, please do not come across as you have an intent to stay, even if that's your plan. That's not my business. What I know is, try to make sure you don't come across as, this person wants to leave their country and go stay in the US. So that said, when my sister went the first time, they asked her a couple of questions, and she didn't know what went wrong. But let me share a couple of tips that I got from that situation. One is, try to remember the questions you were asked the first time. Even though you're going through so much emotionally, when your visa is first denied, you don't even know what to do. You don't know what you did wrong and all of that. Even in that, please take a pen and a paper, your phone, some notes, and take note of the questions they ask you. And I'm saying this because I feel from my experience, from other people's experiences, that these visa officers take notes. They're always typing something I don't understand. but they will be typing. I never understand what they're typing. They type something and I feel like it's some notes that their other colleagues in future can reference, right? So I think they always take notes. So you also need to document the kind of questions they ask you, those ones they really try to get it more information about. And these interviews happen really quickly. Some people get interviewed within 2 minutes. I think my experience, it was less than 5 minutes for mine. Like you just asked me a couple of questions and that was it. So if even if it was for 2 minutes, try after that interview, try to document, try to write something about the questions you remember they asked you, which ones they pushed on and all of that. So try to document that. And I'm saying this because by the time my sister went for the second interview, like the second visa interview, it was a different visa officer, but that visa officer asked her similar questions. So there was a specific question they were asking her about funding or financing, I think. And the first visa officer during the first interview, tried to ask more about it. And this was someone that got very, 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 very good funding. And by the time she went for the second interview, that person also was asking about funding and financing and funding your education. She explained, and the person was like, "What happened?" So this was what she told me. The new visa officer was like, "What happened during the first time?" Because if you see the kind of funding package she got, you would not believe that her visa would be denied, right? So this second visa officer was asking what happened the first time, and she was like, she believes that she was very afraid, and so she was nervous, and that impacted how she answered those questions. And that one was, she was like, he smiled and then approved her visa. Why is this important? I think the most important thing here is anything can make these visa officers uncomfortable. It's sad. I wish it weren't the case, but you've put in a lot of effort into getting into school, paid to apply for the visa, putting, even emotionally, you're already in that school mentally. You're already seeing yourself doing your master's, doing your PhD, and now for this person that talks to you for 2 minutes to just deny your visa, it's sad. But I feel like this is important because first visa interview may have felt uncomfortable with how she answered the question around funding or financing and things like that. And this other person asked her the same questions because I think the first one took notes about funding, or maybe I don't know the kind of notes they must have taken. But this second one saw those notes and questioned. All the questions were related to that topic that the first one had written as maybe something they weren't comfortable with the way she answered. So please take notes and write as much as you remember about that encounter so you can better prepare for when you reapply. So another thing I want to share is, even though no matter how close it is to like your start date, your school resumption date, I mean, please try to reapply. I know it's hard, it's easier said than done, but reapply. Try to find another visa interview date if you're applying to the US. If it's Canada, apply again. Just keep trying. Like keep trying. If she like at some point, we like my sister was already considering deferring her admission if the school would allow her do that. Just things like that. We already started emailing the school about deferral, things like that. But it's always worth it to try again. I am always trying things, and I feel at so many of them never work out, but I keep trying. Please don't be discouraged. Just apply again, find a visa interview date. If the visa interview dates you're getting after your resumption date, like stay up late a couple of nights. I think they release some dates at night. That's for the US. So just try, and it may or may not work out, but try to reapply no matter the country. Reapply and see if it works out. I am here rooting for you, and I hope it really works out for you and you get your visa approved. But I just thought to share this quickly, and this is a real life example that I was a part of. So please try again. And yeah, if you have any questions about visa, just ask me in the comments. I am not a visa expert in any way. I don't know I don't know much about visas. I tell people every time. So please, I'm not an expert. I just love to share, what I know about these situations. So I hope you found today's video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And remember that I'm always sharing things like this to my email community. So if you want to join my email gang, click the link in the description and please join. And I would love to see you, on that side. So hope you like this video. Give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.